Hello, hello. Welcome to this new session to receive the energies of the skies, especially on this new moon in Virgo. I hope you're doing well and that, you're ready for a big upgrade and a big new beginning. Just the basic information. So this new moon is happening in Virgo at 21:58 of Virgo. It happened, depending on where you live, it happened either yesterday or this morning in the early hours at 1:35 Universal Time. So as you know, it's a new moon, so it's the beginning of a lunar cycle. It's a door we close and we open a new one. Of course, it's a great time to place new intention, start new projects, and be prepared to, evolve, or some people even say to be reborn. Interestingly enough, this new moon in Virgo marks the Hebraic New Year. So it's energetically, it's like a big new cycle, not only a moon cycle, but a yearly cycle. And in like Judaism, the New Year is like really a time to commit to change, to become a better person. Like it's really, there's a lot of that energy as evolving the self, evolving like its own, I don't find the words, but making ourselves evolve. That's what I'm looking for. And we are 1 month away, as I said, from the solar eclipse, which will be visible in the USA and South America. Unfortunately, not visible in Europe or the north of Africa. So what's happening in this sun and moon in Virgo? Let's take a brief look at the Virgo archetype. As you probably know by now, or most of you know by now, Virgo is the most analytical sign of the zodiac. It's related to discernment. It's related to day-to-day habits. It's really related to detail, right? Its mantra is "I analyze," which says it all. It's also the archetype of the mother in service. So it is the sign of service to others. It's the sign of healers as well. And it's reminding us that with work and consistency, like as in every day we do a little bit, we can nourish our potential, we can make it grow. And it also reminds us that the fruits that we're going to reap from our hard work are made to be shared. In the Earth triad, Virgo is the middle point between Taurus, body, matter, pleasure, and Capricorn, which is more the spiritual aspect of Earth. So it reminds Taurus that there is a purpose to accomplish. Capricorn, that's the giver of purpose, that transcends matter. And for that, one must be orderly and, take care of the daily routines. It's really like have method and commitment in the day-to-day life in order to achieve that higher purpose that we want to accomplish. What else to say about this? It's a very useful archetype for the Aquarian era. Aquarius archetype can be sometimes chaotic and without the right amount of order, it just can go everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So I think it's nice to have that in mind. What else? Any questions so far or comments? No? Okay. So in a nutshell, like this is an invitation to be orderly and to commit to changes that will affect our daily routine. Let's see now, like what else this chart is telling us. We've got Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto aspecting the sun and moon into Grand Trine / Kite, whatever that means. I'll go through the details of that. So there is, first of all, a grand trine between Sun, Moon on the one hand in Virgo, Pluto at the end of Capricorn, which we know by now is making our life very hard, and Uranus in Taurus. Pluto is the planet of change, of deep change, of transformation, is still in the last degrees of Capricorn, still inviting us very strongly, if not violently sometimes, to change our structures, our patterns, our structures of thoughts in essence, and pushing us to change them, to bring more consciousness of them. Remember, Pluto is at the limits of the Kuiper belt, which is at the limit of the conscious and the unconscious. So it's strongly inviting us to make unconscious patterns, to bring them to light and become conscious of them in order to change them and put them in service of what we really, really want. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, we've got in Taurus, we have Uranus. Uranus is the bringer of change, transformation. It's related to technology, to higher mind, to also to pushing the limits. And because it's in Taurus, these attributes relate to matter. It relate to how we experiment the world. It's how we materialize the divine spark that came with Aries. So the divine spark comes in, or let's say, comes to Earth through Aries, and it starts its expression with Taurus. So Uranus is inviting us to change the material things that we are doing or experimenting in the expression of that divine spark. So we're in this nice wheel where we have a push and pull for change, a push from Pluto, a pull from Uranus that is expanded by Jupiter in close connection to Uranus. Just right next to Uranus, we have Jupiter that is fueling it and expanding it. And we can get stuck in that, you know, we want to change, we want to change, we want to change, we want to change. But in which direction should we seek change? And this is where we have a really nice piece of information that is helping us like bring meaning and purpose to that wheel. So we have one, Neptune, that is opposing the Sun and Moon. Neptune is in Pisces. It's in its home. And Neptune is the visionary, the high consciousness. So it's beaming at us this energy of putting that change in service to higher consciousness, to really our higher self in a certain way. And of course, we have the Sun and Moon in Virgo, which is the earth sign and the sign of service. So with these two elements of high consciousness and materializing it, this is what these changes that we are invited to do are supposed to fulfill. So in summary, it's a very strong invitation to create the changes in our daily lives, Virgo, that will connect us to our highest purpose, Neptune, our higher self, remembering that the fruits of our work are to be shared, are to serve. Yeah? And why is that? It's also because, not only because Virgo is the sign of service, but also Neptune, opposing Sun and Moon, is reminding us that we are one, that all of us are a diffraction or many colors or many aspects of oneness, of one consciousness. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's we need to speak about Mercury. we can't speak about this new moon without Mercury. So Mercury is starting to move out from its retrograde, but it's not direct yet. So it will go direct tomorrow. So remember, Mercury is mind, detail, facts, communication, information. It's the ruler of Virgo. It's analysis, it's rationality. Here, it's opposing Saturn. So it's helping us to see what mental patterns and structures shape our behaviors and which are serving our deepest purpose to be who we are and serve. So we can really use that, you know, Mercury standing still in this position in confronting Saturn, where already Pluto is super active. I think it's helping us analyze, it's helping us discern, it's helping us see things. And Mercury is also connecting to Jupiter, which is also expanding this ability to analyze and review our daily habits. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity here to just do the work. We've got a lot of help for that. What else? Yes, there's another important thing that we need to speak of. We've got 5 outer planets that are retrograde for the next few months. And that's not a small thing. And if we add Chiron, that makes it 6. So we've got Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and Chiron that are all going retrograde. So to go retrograde is to go over those archetypes, to integrate their wisdom. And that means that each of these planets is, again, I say inviting us to stay polite, but I think if we really do it with consciousness, it's like a really like, guys, you had to do it. At least that's how I see it. It's really asking us to do the work. And I think it's wonderful because then we've got hints, we've got information that we can work with. I will go over the key meaning of each planet so that you know it, and then we can work with it in this meditation. But I'll put it in heartbeat so that you can see it and take time to reflect on it, etc. Of course, you can search and get more information on the internet. There's plenty of places where you can find the information. But I would like to go over it right now so that we all connect to these energies. So Pluto is the renewer. So it speaks about the urge to regenerate. It speaks about power, obsession, compulsion, sex, abuse of any of the above. It also connected to anything that is taboo. So it is about diving in the darkest and deeper parts of ourselves, of the psyche. So the work is to go and try and force these structures or patterns or concepts out in the open, so that we can process it and change our behavior and transcend our current behavior from the root, really from the deepest and the darkest part. As I said, this is the planet that is at the border of unconsciousness. So with the help of Pluto, we can see stuff that are hidden to our consciousness. Then we have Saturn. It's the bringer of old age, the master of time, the master of karma. It speaks about boundaries, limitations, restrictions, structures, patterns. It's the master of matter, of money as well. And it's talking about taking responsibility for oneself. It's really the opposite of the victim mentality. It speaks about inner discipline. And as I said earlier, it's the spiritual aspect of the earth signs, because it rules Capricorn. And it speaks about purpose. It is the law of cause and effect. That's karma. It's helping us master the matter. Yeah. It's usually pictured as a very stern and uncomfortable planet. But if you look at it, it's really the planet that can help us navigate reality. Like Saturn is really a great helper for that. Then we have Neptune. Neptune is the visionary, and it's related to oneness. It's I don't know if we say trident, like, you know, the weapon that Neptune has, like when you see it in pictures, it has three. It's a fork with a trident, maybe, which we can assimilate to the three aspects of the self: the conscious, unconscious, and subconscious. So this planet speaks about the higher consciousness. That's on the positive side, but it can also speak of deceit, illusion, and escapism. So I think it's it can help us be inspired by the highest consciousness, to have a vision and to bring it into form. It also speaks about unconditional love, because that's what's at the source. But it can also make us believe that we are inspired by the divine when we're not. That's really the key trap with Neptune. So I would suggest to use the discernment of Virgo and Mercury to distinguish between what is really higher mind or higher consciousness and what is the illusion of that. Yeah. Then Jupiter, that's the great benevolent. It's really expansion. It's the seeker of truth and new horizons, and it's really nice to have that energy to think about, or to observe, or to put our attention to. It's also linked to religion and belief systems. So I think it's a very interesting exercise to review that, Uranus, currently in Taurus, it's the awakener. It's the urge to transform. And there's a lot of transformation energy in this moon. So it speaks about change, as I said, of transcending limits, of chaos and eccentricity as well. It's really the rebel. In relation to Mercury, it's the higher octave of Mercury, the higher mind. That is also more related to the collective, where Mercury is more a personal aspect. It's very intuitive, so it's a nice way to connect to intuition and to arrive to creative solutions in a supposedly illogical manner. That's because it's super connected to intuition. It's connected to innovation. And because it's in Taurus, and Taurus being a very fixed sign, so it's energy of, super, it's like putting together in the same pot, like two super reactionary chemicals. It can be very explosive. The resistance of Taurus in front of the movement and the urge for change of Uranus can bring explosiveness. The reason why I'm saying this is to help you anticipate, let's say, things that can really affect you deeply at an emotional level when you're reviewing all these themes. So Uranus can really I don't want to say make you explode, but on some subjects it can just break down. You can just break down at certain levels. But just know that the energies are pushing us to that. And Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer, which speaks about integration and healing. It's really, it's related to healing in general, but it's especially related to alternative medicine. And the really interesting thing that I wanted to share today is like Chiron taught many heroes the art of healing and the art of warfare. And I think it's really sweet that it's joining the retrograde dance. It's like accompanying the other planets in this retrogradation. And I think it's really nice thing. Yeah. Does it make sense? Is anything you want to ask or want to comment?
No, it makes sense.
It might sound a little bit overwhelming, but I think the overall, and I'll come to, there's one last point that I want to share with you, but I think overall we're really asked to just sit down and think and review and reorganize and plan, you know? It's really like everything is, and also the interesting thing is like all these planets that are going retrograde, they're not moving fast, they're retrograding, but like only a degree max. So they're really sitting still. And it might feel very uncomfortable, like some temperaments are very active and, you know, need to act and need to progress. But sometimes, and this is a time to just sit and review, because that will save us time for the future. And I want to talk to you about a really nice thing. And it's going to be the last thing before we go to the meditation. Perhaps you know that a new comet, like it's new for us, obviously it's not new in the universe, was discovered in August. It's called the Comet something Nishimura. Nishimura is the guy who discovered it. And it's currently traveling through our skies, and it's visible like with a pair of binoculars, which is very close. And today, on the 15th of September, it's entering Virgo. And it is conjunct the master star Denebola. And this is a really, really wonderful event that we have here. So let me talk to you a little bit about that comet. It's a long period comet, which means it has a very long orbit, exactly 435 years, which means it comes from the Oort cloud. That's the subconscious in our solar system. So that it's bringing information from very, very far, number one, and from the collective, number two. And its chemical composition, I find that beautiful. It bears the elements from the formation of our solar system. So usually comets are made of water in the form of ice and other minerals, and like that we know some of, and we don't know all of them. As far as I know, like we don't know exactly what they're made of, or at least not exhaustively. And among the minerals and elements we find in comets are sulfur, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, etc., phosphorus, silica, like all stuff that are essential to life. And for this new moon, I would like us to focus on two elements. One is sulfur. In alchemy, sulfur is related to light and fire, and which allows us to dissolve stuff. It's part in the alchemical process. It helps us dissolve past patterns, past structure, purify, clean. Virgo is super related to purification and to cleanliness. But also we needed to build and fix our DNA. So I really like that idea. If we're going to work on transformation and evolution, I think it's really nice that we have an element in our biology that helps us with our DNA. It also contributes to the health of our skin, tendons, and joints, which is our flexibility. And this is one of the things we're asked to do. To transform, like you need to flexibilize stuff, like to review structure, move them, you know. So that's one of the elements in that comet. The second element that I would like us to focus on is silica. It's the second most abundant element on Earth after oxygen, which I think is really nice. And it's found in our body, in our cell structure, in the skeletal and muscular systems. And it is said to preserve youth as it enters in the composition of collagen. One of the key things about silica is that it conducts electrical pulses, like, I mean, all our, like, you know that already, like all the electronics that we have, they have silica. So therefore, not only allows information to flow, but also it's essential for our memory. So if we're talking about crystalline body, and silica is what generates crystal, it's really two interesting elements that I think we can work on or with on this new moon. So that's what the comet is bringing. Now, who is Denebola? Denebola is exactly at 21 degrees 37 of Virgo, which means it is also conjunct this new moon and the sun and the comet. Like everyone is gathered in that 21 degree. It's part of the Leo constellation, is the tail of the lion. And it's related to the 5 elements. So the 4 elements plus ether. What else? Yeah, it's related to the 5 senses that give light to the soul in search of spiritual awakening. So I find that's really cool. It's a master star that represents the moment of choice, the step that requires from us that we reflect before we continue walking our path. So it's really inviting us to work on ourselves, searching for our development path while avoiding illusion and working on our discernment. So it's just perfectly, well, it's placed in this 21 degree of Virgo for many years, but I think it's a wonderful conjunction that we have here, because it all ties up in the end, to ask us to think, to take a break, to reflect on what we want, to think of our development path, to connect to our inner vision and to our higher selves and our higher purpose, and to create the highest expression of our consciousness. So in essence, we've got tons and tons and tons of help on the one hand, and pushes on the other hand, to really take a moment to just think, reflect. What is it that I want really? How can I serve? Who am I really? What's my true purpose? And yeah, I think that's about it for this moon.
That's a lot.
Yes. It's a lot of redundant information, but I take it as one important piece of work that we need to do. And we've got many planets, like, you know, like giving us like a nudge more, sometimes
Mhm.
small, sometimes very big, but you know, just do it.
Mhm.
Shall we ask the Oracle of Inner Earth what they have to tell us?
Yes, please.
Okay. 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 We have one master that is presenting itself, and it's Serapis Bay.
Mm.
Let me try and open the camera quickly to show you. Can you see? This is the card.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think it's related to silica, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, what do they have to say? All right. As the guardian of the flame of ascension, Serapis Bey has incarnated many times. He worked in the Atlantean Temple of Ascension and then went to Egypt after its collapse. He incarnated several times in ancient Egypt and continued to work for the prosperity, peace, and unity, especially through the construction of buildings such as the Temple of Luxor. He incarnated as Leonidas, the king of Sparta, the Roman king Numa Pompilius, and the philosophers Confucius, Plato, and Seneca. The ascensional key is be the incarnation of the, how can I translate that? Be the incarnation of the flow of light that you are. There's more to come. His message is as follows. The universe, the source, is the sage that will offer you everything. It's program made to measure, to heal you, to eliminate from within and increase your consciousness, life. A great friend that will commit with you to accompany you towards the way of realization, wisdom. The tool, the divinely efficient tool to elevate you from within and nourish your thoughts with light, the heart. An older sister that will help you open the abyss to make your purity come out, the moon. The infinite space to unify yourself to the power of the eternal spring, the present. The inextinguishable source of peace and warmth of your flame, peace. The permanent link to the universal intelligent love, the soul. The envelopes that that exist with each layer of existence, the bodies, the belonging, and an unbreakable link to all that lives, the solar heart. You don't have to change your life. It's the life that reminds you in yourself. That it's the life, sorry, that reminds you that it is within yourselves. Inside, it's inviting you to synchronize with the all and with her, the life. This call is eternal, is outside of time, and is general. Life calls for life. The source of light within, the verb, will bring life into you and will nourish you. Fear of living prevents human from listening to this call, but never from hearing it. As long as the human will think that it can control its life, they will not be able to commune fully with her. Until he lets go of control and starts welcoming, he will be in the tension of the hole he has himself dug for himself. Therefore, sorry, I'm doing simultaneous translation and sometimes it's not easy. From the moment this call echoes with your heart and its acts, a world of harmony and depth will open to him, humans. The meaning appears, the soul grows, and the verb shines. The path is illuminated, the voice is heard, and the peace enters. The veil is lifted, and love appears. Here we are with Master Serapis Bey. Anything that you want to share, you want to say, or you want to add maybe about what you feel about this moon? No? So while you think of maybe what you want to share, let me tell you how we're going to work with all this information. So what I would like us to do, and the work that I'm trying to make us do today, is to focus on ascending into the self. So the idea is not trying to go anywhere or to reach any external dimension, state, whatever, but really to have that movement within, of ascension, but within. So we will connect to our essence, our divine part, and we'll be connecting also to the elements, because that's very much part of incarnated life on Earth. And we will work on the expression of new possibilities within, with the use of sulfur that, as I said, alchemically dissolves, but also enlightens and helps with the DNA. And with silica that opens up our memory so that we can remember our purpose, who we are, our abilities, and all that we need for transformation. So it's almost like an upgrade that we can think of. Before we start the meditation, I would like to add something about the card that we pulled, the Master Serapis Bey. I'm not entirely sure whether it's related or not, but I can't help but think of the Serapeum in Egypt, which is in the complex of Saqqara, close to Cairo. This complex is, it speaks about creation, really, into matter. It really speaks about bringing the, let's call it that way, the divine consciousness, and to bring it into here on earth, into the matter that we live in, the 3D world that we live in. That's one thing that I wanted to mention. The other thing is that in that complex, there is the Serapeum, which is space that is underground, that holds a lot of sarcophagi, or what looks like sarcophagi. The very interesting thing about this place, the Serapeum, is that it's built with layers of crystals. So there's a layer of crystal, and there's layers of earth, or the material with which they built that complex. And I find it really, really interesting that we're pulling out this card as we're speaking about incarnating, as we're speaking about silica, which generates crystals, and about light, sulfur. So hopefully that's a confirmation that we're connecting to the right concepts and the right elements for this very, very special new moon. Now, let us start with the music. While I'm putting the music on, I invite you to find a comfortable position. A position where you can have a straight spine, and where you're comfortable and you can stay seated for the entire duration of the meditation. Start by massaging your body to inform it that we will be working with it. Massage your body from your feet up to your head, your arms, your legs, your back, your face. And start to breathe gently in and out through your nose. And let yourself be completely absorbed by the movement of air entering in and out. And as you connect with your breath, your current environment dissolves completely, and you find yourself walking in nature. It doesn't matter which setting you choose, only that as you're walking, you find yourself walking towards a field. You enter that field And you keep walking until you find a place where you feel comfortable standing. The field is clear, spacious. You can see the horizon 360 degrees around you. And as you find your spot, you stand there, barefoot, connecting to earth. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out as I close my eyes, feeling my environment. And I connect to my surroundings through all my senses. Through my skin, I feel the air, the temperature around me, the breeze, the wind. I feel the earth supporting me. Through my ears, I hear all the sounds around me. The wildlife, maybe even the wind makes some noise. And I hear all the sounds here and far away. Through my eyes, I see, even behind my eyelids. I can perceive daylight and shadows of the shapes surrounding me. Perhaps I perceive movement around me. And through my mouth and nose, I can smell and taste my surroundings. I perceive the scent of the plants, the animals, and any scent that floats in the air in this field. And as I stand, I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, taking in all my surroundings, becoming one with it. I deploy all my senses to experiment the present moment and use it to inform and nourish my next steps. As I realize that, I now place my attention on my breath. It is gentle and soft. Slowly, my breath starts moving up and down along my spine. I breathe in from my crown. I breathe out through my feet. With each breath in, I absorb the light from the sun and the stars, from all the heavenly bodies. And with each breath out, I connect with Earth. With each cycle of breath, I grow vertically, expanding my connection with the cosmos and anchoring myself deeper with Earth. And breath after breath, I convert into a tree, a strong, beautiful tree with roots wide and deeply planted into earth, with a solid trunk supporting ever-expanding branches and foliage that start to form a balanced and harmonious crown. With all my senses deployed, I feel the warmth of the sun, fire that allows me to produce energy. I feel the support of earth and its nutrients that allow me to grow. I feel the movement of water that allows the nutrients to flow and reach all the parts of my being. And I feel the wind that helps me expand into new territories. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And fully nurtured by the elements, I stand firm, in balance, connected through my crown and through my roots to sky and earth. And as I stand there, I feel with each breath the flow of nutrients from the sky coming down into my spine, and from earth I feel its nutrients flowing up through my spine. As I breathe in and out, those streams keep progressing down and up until they meet in my heart. And as they meet, they ignite a spark. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I recognize that this is the spark of the fire that dissolves challenges, the fire that integrates experiences, the fire of transformation, the fire that lights up the path towards new possibilities. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I let that fire, that spark, expand. As I connect to the pulse of my heart, the center that nourishes my entire body unconditionally. With each heartbeat, the spark flows through my veins, traveling to all my systems, my organs, my tissues, my blood, my bones, down to each and every cell. And within every cell, I can see with that spark the seed of new possibilities being weaved. I see the awakening of ancient memories and the emergence of new structures to sustain new realities. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I observe that spark lighting up my entire being, in every cell, everywhere. And I feel the warmth. I feel the intelligence. I feel the light that starts growing in my entire body. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I recognize that I am the divine spark that ignites all possibilities. I become aware that I am creator of new realities. I understand that I am evolution, for I am. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and I activate with the sound N. I am the divine spark that ignites all possibilities. I am creator of new realities. I am evolution, for I am. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I come back here and now, massaging my body, caressing, touching all the parts of my body to integrate that information. And I stretch. And I feel like yawning. I yawn. And when I'm ready, I can open my eyes. Thank you again for being here. I wish you a wonderful new moon and a wonderful time exploring your next steps and the path ahead. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.